Okay guys, so one of the core features of this game is AFK farming, because most of your activities here are going to be about farming monsters. So I want to share some tips about AFK farming. Now, just a heads up guys, some of this might be very basic or very obvious for veteran mobile MMO players, especially Ymir for players. That's why please take note that this guide is really for new players, just like me. Okay, so first thing that you need to know in this game is that there are no mana potions in this game. So if you don't manage your auto skills correctly, you might end up running out of mana and your character will just start using normal attacks. And pure normal attacks guys in this game, they are really not that effective. So using your skill is a must. But again, the problem is your mana is always draining. Now, here's how are we going to handle it guys. So here, click your level here, and then here you will see your mana regeneration. Then after that, go to your auto skills feature, and here guys, if you haven't set up anything here, your character will use all of your skills by default, which is the common reason on early days why you will end up with no mana when doing AFK farming. So what you want to do in this one is make sure that your average mana cost per 10 seconds should be at least match your mana regeneration. That's the safest starting point. But guys, be aware that every character is actually different on this one. That's why it's good to experiment a bit. Like, you can add one skill to make your average mana slightly higher than your mana regen, and then try to do AFK farming with that, and then just wait for maybe around 5 minutes. If your mana is not dropping too fast, like it doesn't reach the half mana, then maybe you can add another skill and test again, and keep adjusting guys until you find the sweet spot for your automated skill for your class. And guys, another thing to watch out for is your inventory weight. If you're carrying too much, your mana regen will actually stop. But guys, I'm not 100% sure if the limit is the same for every class, but on my two characters, it's really consistent. Like, once I hit around 80% of the weight limit, my mana regen basically shuts down. So again, make sure to manage the weight of your bag carefully if you want that mana regen to keep ticking. Now, the other question is, how do you increase your mana regen? So there are a few ways. First is, here in this daily limited shop, you can actually buy a mana regen potion, and this mana regen potion is actually a huge boost, like plus 30 mana regen for 30 minutes. That's really huge. And then another way is, when you reach level 36 guys, every time you level up, you can increase one of your stats by simply leveling up one of your skills. And most players, no matter their class, they actually increase wisdom first, because wisdom boosts your mana and your mana regen. And don't worry about this one guys, because you can reset this or your stats anytime for a very cheap price. If you need to invest in other stats later like evasion, you can just simply reset this, and then you can just put to your stats that boost evasion. But early on, mana and mana regen are what you need in AFK farming. So wisdom is really the best choice no matter what is your class. And also guys, another sources you can also get mana regen is here from the story deck cards, where the system for this one is the Valkyrie gacha that you're getting also unlock the cards here, and some of them boost your mana regen. So the more you open a gacha ticket for your Valkyrie, the more you unlock some cards here in your story deck. And some of the mana regen cards here, you can actually craft it easy. And also in your collection system, this is where you deposit items or gears. There are some collection here that boost your mana and mana regen, and this is very common in Korean MMOs, this collection system. So guys, that's basically how you increase your mana regen in this game. And guys, the next thing to think about in AFK farming, aside from mana regen, is choosing the right spot for you. So for leveling, this is based on my experience. Nothing beats the experience defense room inside Valhalla dungeon. So it's available 1 hour per day. That's why I believe this should be our #1 spot every day. And then for open world farming, I will make another video showing the best spot based on your level. But for now, I want to focus more on the key principles. Like first, long range monsters give double XP, but they also hit twice as hard, so you take double damage while earning double XP. So that's why farming long range monsters is actually part of the AFK meta here in Korea server. And also when farming in dungeons like let's say the labyrinth, smaller rooms are usually better because monsters spawn closer together, which makes farming more efficient, especially that most of your skills in this game are actually AoE. But anyway guys, smaller rooms and long range monsters are not always the absolute best, because if the area is crowded with other players, you might actually get less XP. Sometimes it's better to choose a spot that's less crowded, even if it gives slightly less XP. Also guys, pay attention to other players' battle power. If their HP is much higher than yours, it means they have more battle power. And if you try to farm in the same spot without being in a party with them, you probably won't get many kills. So it's usually better to avoid crowded spots like that. Again, you can tell by comparing their HP to your HP. And also remember, higher XP doesn't always mean faster progress or best farming spot. You need to consider too how quickly you can kill monsters. Sometimes lower XP monsters that die faster are more efficient. Ideally, using 2 or 3 skills is the sweet spot for AFK farming. If kills take longer than that, it might be better to move to a weaker farming spot. And finally guys, when choosing a farming spot, consider not just the XP but also the item drops, like the item you need for crafting, either your gears to increase your battle power or your book material for leveling up your skills, which this will allow you to access better farming spot in the future as you level up. So those are the key principles you need to understand for AFK farming. Next, I'm going to put up together a simple roadmap from level 1 to level 50 showing the best AFK farming spot at each stage. For example, for level 1 to level 30, these are your best option. For level 31 to 35, these are your options. 35 to 40, and so on. So right now I'm still testing different farming spot with my characters. Actually, I already created 4 characters and I'll be making 1 more for the last class I want to test. So guys, stay tuned for that. I'll see you soon. All right.